Today I'm here again doing with you the next chapter of the book Flamingo, and that is Indigo. Indigo by Louis Fisher. Now Louis Fisher wrote the life of Mahatma Gandhi, and Indigo is an excerpt from this book of his. This part deals with the sharecroppers of Champaran. You all must have read in your history books in the freedom struggle of our country, in the national movement, about the peasants who were exploited by the English in Champaran. And that was the first fight which triumphed, which was when we became victorious. This was the first civil disobedience movement where we were successful. A lot was suffered by the sharecroppers of Champaran, and one of the peasants, Rajkumar Shukla, he thought of going and talking to the Indian National Congress to tell about the injustice that these sharecroppers were going through. He wanted the Indian National Congress to work in this, regarding this. So he went to Lucknow, where this annual convention of Indian National Congress was going on, and he sat there and waited there when someone told him that you should speak to Gandhiji. Gandhiji is the person who can really help you. So this is how Rajkumar Shukla came to know about Gandhiji. Alright, and yes, this was a turning point in Gandhiji's life also, where he actually started working for the freedom struggle. So Louis Fisher met Gandhiji in 1942 when Gandhiji himself told about this whole incident. So Gandhiji said that in 1916, when this annual convention was going on in Lucknow, this Rajkumar Shukla was sitting there when Rajkumar Shukla was told that you speak to Gandhi instead of going and speaking in the meeting, where maybe yes, you will be heard, but maybe it will take time for things to come into action. But if you talk to Gandhiji, things will become quicker. So he waited there for Gandhiji, and when he met Gandhiji after this meeting, he told that he was a peasant and he wanted Gandhiji to accompany him to Champaran because there was a problem with the sharecroppers there, with the peasants over there. So Gandhiji had never heard about Champaran, and he said that he was already committed to go to various other places. He had to go to Kanpur, then he had to visit his ashram in Ahmedabad. But the tenacity of Rajkumar Shukla was such that he followed him everywhere, wherever Gandhiji went. Rajkumar Shukla went with him with the hope that after doing all his work, Gandhiji would accompany him to Champaran. Now when Gandhiji saw him following him everywhere, so he told him to fix a date, and he told him that he would be there. He gave him a date that he would be there in Calcutta for some work, and from there he could go to Champaran. Champaran is where? At the foothills of Himalayas, and where Nepal border and Bihar border they meet. Champaran is actually in Bihar. Alright, so they had to go there. So on the set date, Rajkumar Shukla was there in Calcutta waiting for him, sitting on the stairs, and Gandhiji liked this quality of Rajkumar Shukla and accompanied him. They took a train and they went to Patna. Now in Patna, obviously you don't know directly, they couldn't go to Champaran. They had to get down at Patna, and then they had to take other vehicles, whatever automation was there, and reach Champaran, which was in the Bihar. So when they reached Patna, Rajkumar Shukla took him to Rajendra Prasad's house. You know, Rajendra Prasad was, later on he became the president of Indian National Congress. So he took him there, but Rajendra Prasad was not there. So, you know, now how could you stay at a place when the person is not there? So, but the people, you know, when people saw this new person has come, and everybody knew Rajkumar Shukla, you know, kept visiting Rajendra Prasad ji. So they said, all right, this man can stay here, but on the grounds that he will not touch the well. You know, there was this seriousness of untouchability going on over there. You know, they felt that anyone who was untouchable and took out water from the well, he could pollute the water of the well. So because they did not know who Gandhiji was, and Gandhiji was also clad like a peasant only. We have seen how he, you know, dresses himself. So no one allowed him. They told him that all right, he can stay here. If Rajendra Prasad ji is not there, he can stay here, but he will not be allowed to touch the well. Now then, after that, Gandhiji decided that they should move to Muzaffarpur, where he still knew people. So, you know, he wrote a message, he telegraphed a message to Professor Kriplani. Now, Professor Kriplani was a professor of arts in college over there. So he sent him a message that he was coming, and Professor Kriplani was there to receive him at the station with a group of students. You know, they used to stay in the college itself. So now then, from there, Kriplani took him to Professor Malkani's house, and in Professor Malkani's house, Gandhiji stayed for 2 days. You know, at that time, when these Englishmen were here, everyone was afraid, you know, all the government officials especially, they were afraid to entertain any advocates of home rule at that time. They were afraid of the English because they were afraid that they would lose their jobs. But still, Professor Malkani was ready to, you know, was very happy, in fact, that Gandhiji was there. All educated people knew who Gandhiji was, you know. Others, common man doesn't know because they are themselves so much into their own problems. So he stayed there at Professor Malkani's house for 2 days, and he met many lawyers over there. Many lawyers, you know, from all around. He in fact called all the lawyers to know about proper case of this sharecropper exploitation. Because, you know, even Rajkumar Shukla, although he had told all the details, but even he was an illiterate person. So proper details, if a person wants to, you know, furnish, he has to have proper people to tell, educated people to tell. And so he called all the lawyers and advocates and all who came and who told them about the whole thing. And even they also told how the farmers were being exploited, and also about the fees that they themselves, all the lawyers, were charging. And you won't believe, Gandhiji was so very angry, charging such a lot of big fees from these people who are poverty stricken, who are grief stricken, and who are full of fear. So Gandhiji wanted, first thing from this, the peasant crowd, was to be free from fear. You know, if you are afraid of someone, you are scared of someone, you tend to bow down, you tend to bend and to agree with whatever wrong is happening with you. So he wanted each and every person to become fearless. And you know, when Gandhiji, you know, was here at Professor Malkani, and everybody was coming to meet Gandhiji regarding this case, all the lawyers and advocates and all the people of, you know, the sharecroppers, the peasants, they came to know about this whole thing. And from Muzaffarpur, from Champaran, by foot, but anyhow, you know, they were all coming to see there, to have a look at Gandhiji. who they felt was their champion, who was there to fight for them. And they were very happy. And they also felt that this stranger is here, this champion is here, and they also needed to be free from fear. They agreed to this. Alright, so now what was the case of these sharecroppers? All these Englishmen, they had bought, when they came and started staying here, they had bought all the big estates, all the, big plots of land. And what they did, they gave these lands to these farmers on the rent basis. These farmers became the tenants. And what they told was that 15% of the produce, whatever they grew there, 15% should be, they were compelled to grow indigo. Indigo was, taken from them, and they used to send it to Europe, to their country, and there, it was used in their industries and business. So they wanted that these peasants to grow 15% of indigo in the land, and that was the whole 15% was given to them as a rent. Now when Germany started making their synthetic indigo, which was cheaper than this, so now they did not require this. So what they did was that they told the sharecroppers that now we don't need your indigo, but you have to pay a compensation to us now, because anyhow you have to pay rent. So now you will pay a compensation. Now those illiterate people who did not know anything about all this, they agreed and they signed, where they were told to sign. And after that, the exploitation that took place over there. But there were others, like Rajkumar Shukla, who wanted to take a way out, and so was there to talk to the people of International Congress, and then he met Gandhiji. Now Gandhiji came to know about all this. So now next was to move to Champaran. After 2 days he moved to Champaran. Now I have just, I'm ready with the flow chart, how Gandhiji went along. Gandhiji was also very planned. He did not want any type of fight or violence or anything. He had his own way, to get your work done without any violence. So what he did, firstly when he reached Champaran, he firstly went and met the secretary of British Landlord Association. And he met this man and he told him to furnish him all the details of the sharecroppers and whatever was going on. But this man refused. Alright, then Gandhiji met British Official Commissioner of Tirhut. He met this man, but this man, had already come to know about Mahatma Gandhi and knew that he was there for the sharecroppers, and so he bullied him. He told him very strictly that you leave this place. But Gandhiji was not going to stop there. From there he went to Motihari. Motihari is the capital of Champaran. Alright, and when he reached there, many people were there to receive him at the station. And he went to a house and he made that house a headquarter where he had thought that he would hold meetings and everything. Alright, now there when he reached there, people came to know that he was there. And he started talking to people about what was going on, the grievances of the peasants, all details, he was doing there. So when the officials came to know that he was here and he was talking to people, he was talking to lawyers and everything, so he was summoned to the court. Alright, he was summoned to the court. Now when he reached the court, on the day he had to go to the court, that night Gandhiji kept working. He did not sleep that night. He telegraphed to Rajendra Prasad and told him the whole scenario and told him to bring all the influential people with him and reach there before the court case. Then he wired a message. At that time, they used to send telegraphs. He wired a message to his ashram giving them instructions, and he also sent a message to the viceroy of that place because he wanted the viceroy to know, actual scenario and why he was in Champaran and what was going on and the way he had been summoned to the court. So he had worked the whole night, did not sleep, and when the next night, next day when he reached the court, he was shocked and in one way happy to see the whole area black with peasants. From here and there, everybody was there to support their champion Gandhiji, who had been summoned to court. Everybody came to know, all the peasants were there and they were demonstrating against the court and the English people. Now, they had, they were fearless and they were showing courage. Why? Because they felt that this champion was there to fight for them. This stranger was there to fight for them. So why not they too act? Now looking at such a big crowd, the English officials, they could not control the demonstrations and whatever they were doing. And they took the help of Gandhiji only, who told Gandhiji to control the crowd. And yes, it was Gandhiji who was able to control them. Now looking at, this big crowd and the way this man was, being championed, people were, cheering for Gandhiji. So these officials were really afraid and they wanted to postpone this whole, thing. So now, but Gandhiji was very angry. Gandhiji said, why to delay the judgment? Whatever you have called for, you talk to me about that. So Gandhiji said that, he protested against the delay. They said that they would postpone and call him later because there was such a lot of demonstrations. They themselves were actually afraid. So they, afraid to pronounce any sentence against Gandhiji because the whole area was crowded. They were afraid that these people would revolt. So, but Gandhiji said that he protested against the delay, and he said that he was in a conflict of duties. What duties he had a conflict for? Number one was he did not want to set a bad example of a lawbreaker. He said, I am here, you summoned me, I am here. And I don't want to be called a lawbreaker. And the second thing is that I want to render national and humanitarian service. And so, how a delay in this? So then they all discussed and they decided that after 2 hours, they would, sit again after a break of 2 hours, and then the thing will go on. So the court proceedings. So this, and they told Gandhiji to furnish for bail for 120 minutes. But Gandhiji refused. And then he was left free for 2 hours, and after 2 hours they met, and what were the proceedings? They knew everything. How they themselves were exploiting. So now what they said that they had to talk about all this and had to settle all this, and so they would call Gandhiji again for the same. So it would take time for them to pronounce a sentence, and Gandhiji was at liberty to go anywhere he wanted. So this really made Gandhiji happy, and he knew that all the peasants were out of their houses. At least they had become fearless and had courage. He was happy for this. Alright, now when they went back, there were, all these lawyers. Rajendra Prasad was there with all his acquaintances, and, there was Rajendra Prasad, there was Brij Kishore, there were many others. They all sat and they started discussing now what would they do if Gandhiji was called. All right, and they also discussed that if Gandhiji was, they felt that Gandhiji is a stranger, he is an outsider, he doesn't stay in Champaran or in Bihar, but he was there and was ready to go to jail for these peasants. He wanted the peasants to get their rights. He was fighting for these peasants. So, these people also felt that if a stranger can go to jail for them, then why not they accompany him? And they came and they told him that they would always work with him and they would support him and even go to jail if he is also sent to jail. But what happened? After a few days, Gandhiji received an official letter that this whole case had been dropped. And here was the first victory of civil disobedience. And Gandhiji was very, very happy. So many times he had been told to leave, but he disobeyed. But in a proper manner. There was no violence. He did not fight with anyone. He had his own way to get things done. So Gandhiji was happy. Now no court summons were there because the case had been dropped. And so, they all collected and they used to go to everybody started working. There was a lot of, the whole area throbbed with activity. They were going to the houses of the farmers. They went everywhere and they talked to each and every farmer who, there were around 10,000 people who gave in writing their problems. Alright, they made them write, then only they wanted evidence. So there were 10,000 people who wrote their dispositions, and after a few days, Sir Edward Gate, he was the Lieutenant Governor. So this person called Gandhiji and to discuss with him. So a commission was set up for the case of these sharecroppers, and there were many planters who had, attended this meeting. Sir Edward Gate was there, other officials, government officials were there, but Gandhiji was the only person who attended, who was the solo representative of the peasants. And Gandhiji showed all the letters and everything that the statements that had been written by these exploiters. And once when he was in Motihari, when the case had not been started, there also, when he came to know that a peasant had been had been ill-treated and had been beaten up, he was ready to go to, he called for, and they all, he wanted to go and meet that farmer to know about what, problems he had gone through. So they called for an elephant, and when he was on his way to go and talk to the farmer, he was again stopped by the police superintendent, and there also he was called and he was told to leave Champaran. But he had disobeyed, and after that he had been summoned to the court. Alright, this point I had missed. Alright, so now again he, gave all the evidence. He showed all the letters that the 10,000 people had written, and all the planters, this commission was set up, and then they all agreed. And now, the planters were tensed. What they thought was that everything had, Gandhiji knew everything now, and now officially things were being dealt, and probably the Gandhiji would, demand for the whole amount to be given back to the farmers. But Gandhiji did not ask for the whole amount. He said that 50% refund had, the big planters had to be refund. 50% of the refund they had to give to the peasants. Then, they were quite relaxed with this, because first they had thought they had to return the whole amount. Then, they all decided to go and talk to Gandhiji, and they said that because that had to be given at that time, and they did not have so much of money, so they were ready to give 25% back to the peasants. And Gandhiji, to their surprise, Gandhiji agreed. Why? Because Gandhiji felt that these people had bent down, their prestige had gone down, and that is what he wanted. And secondly, these farmers, he was also very happy that by all this, the farmers had gained courage. Firstly, they had become fearless, they had gained courage, and they had now come to know about their rights. The farmers did not know that they had rights. They felt they were poor and they had no rights at all, and they had to agree to whatever the Englishmen or these zamindars or big planters used to tell. So here he had been successful, and moreover, their prestige had gone down. The big planters had come themselves and they were ready to give 25% of the compensation, of the refund. So that was given, and yes, definitely their condition must have improved, the condition of the peasants. Alright, so then next step was, now Gandhiji, when he stayed here, he had come just for a few days, but at length he stayed here for 7 months. And then when work started, then he used to go to his ashram or some other works, wherever he had to go, and then used to come back again. Now, during his stay, it is always, said that Gandhiji did not come here only for political or economic rights. He was not here for only this. During his stay, he saw the way people were living. There was no sanitation at all. People were illiterate. People did not know what to do, how to take care of their health. So now Gandhiji said that he had solved the problem of the sharecroppers, but he was not here in his own country. He was not only going to look at the political and economic rights, he also wanted to focus on the social and cultural backwardness of the people. He wanted them to come out of this. So he talked to his people, he had his friends in the ashram, and he called them. They were, this Mahadev Desai was there, then this Narhari, they were all working in his ashram. He called them, he called his son Devdas, and he also called his wife Kasturbai. Alright, and he wanted them to, tell people about sanitation, about cleanliness. Everybody worked in this field, they went to houses, they talked to them. He also saw how poorly these women over there were clad, and he told his wife to go and talk to these women. So, one of these women, they were so poor, they were poverty stricken. She said, I have just one sari. So, but Gandhiji and his whole team, there were other people who joined in, and everybody was here to help these people come out of this, bad, backward condition in which they were living. So they taught about cleanliness, about sanitation to them. Then this primary schools were set up for educating people, if they want, educating people also and the children also. And then even the, this dispensary was set up where they used to give 3 types of medicines. One was an ointment, which sulfur ointment. Whenever a person gets wounded or anything, that could be applied. What they were using, they used to put mud and whatever, there was no proper medication here. And then this quinine was there because there were a lot of mosquitoes because of the insanitation and all. So this helped them in malaria. And there was this castor oil was being given. These 3 medicines were made available at the beginning. Castor oil is for stomach related problems. So these 3 medicines were made available. Sanitation was there, cleanliness was brought, primary schools were set up. And now Gandhiji, this whole thing in Champaran was a turning point in Gandhiji's life. He worked to make them fearless, to bring courage in them, to let them, he wanted them to know their rights. People did not know what rights they had. They worked for the political and economic rights also, their social and cultural backwardness also. And he said, I am not only for defiance. I have not come here only to fight for things. I want to alleviate their distress, this Gandhiji said. People were so distressed, he wanted to remove their distress. Alright, and he wanted to mold a new free Indian. He wanted all of them to be, to know what they have to do to fight for their rights. And then only, he wanted everybody to be ready for the freedom struggle. He wanted each and every person to know their rights and that they had to be free. That is why, he was able to collect the whole of India with him. And this is how we got freedom. Right? So he wanted to mold every person into a free Indian. And then, there was this man, Charles Freer Andrews. He, was there in India and he was looking at Gandhiji and his ways and the way he was trying to elevate distress out of people and whatever, he was doing, he was quite impressed. So before going back to Fiji Island, he went and met Gandhiji and, praised Gandhiji a lot and his ways. And he told Gandhiji that he wanted to work with him. But Gandhiji refused. This person offered help, but Gandhiji refused because Gandhiji said this is an unequal fight. And taking help of one Englishman would be wrong. And he told his people that we have to be self-reliant. We have to rely on ourselves and our rights and our courage. We should have confidence in ourselves. We should be determined enough. We have to mold an Indian spirit in us, patriotism in us, if we have to fight. We don't need help of any. We don't need sympathy of any Englishman. Then it would become wrong. We have to rely on ourselves. So this is how Gandhiji worked towards freedom struggle, and this was the episode of Champaran, and it was a turning point in Gandhiji's life. And after that he did not stop, one after the other in different places. We have already read, and if you have not read about the freedom struggle, do read. Alright, I have covered every point in the chapter. Read it, it will become very easy. It's very interesting. We should know what Gandhiji has done. And if you go through any problems, please put it in the comment section. You can also mail your problems to me. And do let me know in the comment section how you feel when I'm teaching in this way. I've seen others who are reading out the text. I don't want to read. I'm just, I want you to listen to what I'm saying and then go through your books. Do let me know how my classes are and take good care of yourself. Bye-bye.